सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। कृष्ण कृष्ण मनमोहना चित्तचोरा गोपीजीवना। कृष्ण कृष्ण मनमोहना चित्तचोरा गोपीजीवना। वेणुधारी जगन्मोहना व्रजवासी नन्दनन्दना। वेणुधारी जगन्मोहना व्रजवासी नन्दनन्दना। कृष्ण कृष्ण मनमोहना चित्तचोरा गोपीजीवना। मेघश्यामा मधुसूदना राधाकान्ता यदुनन्दना। मेघश्यामा मधुसूदना राधाकान्ता यदुनन्दना। कृष्ण कृष्ण मनमोहना चित्तचोरा गोपीजीवना। चित्तचोरा गोपीजीवना। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयः यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा। धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव। तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। So Dhruva decides to go to the forest to do tapas. In fact, he was inspired by the words of his mother Suniti, who said, "My dear son, anything is possible by the grace and blessings of the Lord. So worship Him just like your forefathers have done and attained great heights. In the same way you also proceed." Now this boy, he makes up his mind to do intense tapas. At that time, who comes? Narada Rishi comes there. He places his sacred hand upon the boy's head, blesses him, and then says, Oh dear one, you are just 5 years of age. This is not the time for you to feel humiliated, insulted, and leave home. This is not the time. This is the age for you to play with the toys. But then if at all you have such feelings of humiliation by listening to the cruel words of your stepmother, even if such feelings arise, understand one thing. What is it? What did he say? Asantosha hetavaha moham mrite na bhinna. All those disturbance of the mind, it is only because of moham alone, delusion alone, ignorance alone. So therefore, if the mind is disturbed, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to remove the moham, the delusion. Never think that my suffering is because of somebody else. Always say my suffering is because of nija karma bihi. It's because of my own action. Whatever situation I am facing, it is because of my own action. So therefore, what should be our attitude in life? What do the wise people do? Paritushye tatastata tavan matrena purushaha daivopasaditam yavat vikshe ishwaragatim buddhaha. The wise people considers everything as will of the Lord, and they cheerfully accept all situations without complaining, without grumbling. This is the way to live life. Consider everything as the will of the Lord. Whatever Bhagavan does, it's for our good. Whatever he does, it is what we deserve. This is the way the wise people live. Now, as far as your path is concerned, you are going to do some intense tapas. Now, here Naradji actually is criticizing him. He is discouraging this boy from doing such intense tapas, because this Naradji knew what this boy is going to do. He will give up food, he will give up sleep, he will give up even breathing also, and he will stand on one leg, and some such kind of intense tapas this boy is going to do. Naradji knew it, and now he is giving the wise, counsel, saying that this is not the way. This is not the real way at all. What you want is peace, happiness. Your happiness is right here. What you have to do is change your thinking, change your attitude. This is what you are supposed to do, not some kind of torturing the body. It's very clear. So therefore, what should be done? Now your problem is with Suruchi and Uttama and your father, etc. What should be your attitude? So here one verse it is said, very clearly knowing his attitude in the mind. Those people who are more virtuous than us, more evolved than us, you should emulate them, you should be happy with them, not jealous with them. Those people who are less fortunate, you should be sympathetic towards them, compassionate towards them, and with the equals, you should be friendly with them. So the problem is your attitude. Change it. Try to correct yourself. Try to correct your thinking. That is what is needed. Learn to cheerfully go through all situations of life. This is what you are supposed to do. And you think the path of tapas is going to be easy? No, Naradji is discouraging him. There are very many sadhakas for very many lives with complete detachment. They have done such intense tapas with concentrated mind, and even they could not attain him. You are going to attain. It is only to discourage him. So therefore, listen to my words and go back from this forest. So this is what Naradji told that boy. Now tell me, was Naradji right or wrong? Was Naradji right or wrong? Naradji was absolutely absolutely right. Just because Dhruva is the hero doesn't mean he should always be right. See, that is why we have to read Puranas directly. What Naradji told was absolutely right. The real tapas is not physical torture. What is real tapas? Trying to know one's own true self. When Bhagavan, Ramana Maharshi's definition also, what did he say? Ahamapetakam nijavibhanakam mahadidam tapo Ramanavagiyam. Mahad idam tapas Ramanavagiyam. These are the words of Ramana. What did he say? Aham apetakam nijavibhanakam. That tapas where the ego falls. Aham apetakam nijavibhanakam, where the true self shines forth. Any tapas which takes me to my own true self is a real tapas. In the name of tapas, very many people, they torture their body. Bhagavad Gita is dead against it. In 17th chapter, Bhagavan makes it very clear. There are so many people who torture their body, thinking that this is the greatest tapas. It is nothing, it is mere foolishness. Bhagavan says not only that they torture themselves, they are torturing me also. Isn't it? Now see, you have to connect all that when such things are said. So don't think that Naradji is misguiding the boy. No, very many people think Naradji was misguiding him. Not at all. Naradji's advice was perfect. Now please don't bring that Naradji, the image which you have in some TV serials and all. In all TV serials, Naradji is a comic figure. He is there to lighten the whole atmosphere. In every film, you need a comedian in every film. Normally, these Puranic stories, they have a comedian in the form of Naradji. But if you really read Puranas, Naradji is a very serious figure. A person who's always trying to guide the seekers in the right path. It was Naradji who guided Prahlada. It is again Naradji who is going to guide our Dhruva. Everywhere you will find this blessed hand of Naradji, wherever the seekers are guided in the right path. So the image which we gather from these TV serials and movies and all, it's absolutely wrong. When you read scriptures, you will come to know. So this great Rishi, he said, what you are doing is wrong. This is not the right path. So therefore go back. Listen to my words. And what did Dhruva say? Now see the reply of Dhruva. Soyam shamo bhagavata sukha dukkha hatatmanam darshitah kripaya pumsam durdarshosmat vidhestuyah. O Rishi, out of extreme compassion, you have shown this path to me. What is that path? Shamaha. Shamaha. The path of peace. O Bhagavan, this path of peace which you have shown, darshitaha kripaya, out of great compassion you have shown this path to me. But Bhagavan, durdarshaha, I accept that whatever you are saying is absolutely right. But for a person like me, asmat vidhehi, for people like us, this path is very, very difficult. This path of cheerfully accepting everything, forgiving everyone, considering everything as the will of the Lord, and then without retaliating, silently, cheerfully, non-complainingly accepting everything. O Rishi, this is durdarsha. I am not even able to see the end result. Because what kind of person I am? Sukha dukkha hatatmanam. What kind of people are we? We are tossed up and down by sukha and dukkha. Sukha, dukkha, mana, apamana. We are such weak people, weaklings, who get affected by all these things. So therefore, we are not able to think right. The happenings of the world, they are very easily able to influence our minds. We don't have the strength enough to practice what you are advising. Now see this boy. He is not trying to justify his action. He is only confessing that a person like me, it is impossible to practice what you are saying. In fact, even if I practice what you say, sit quietly, I may sit quietly, but I may not be able to cheerfully accept it. I may be silent just because Narada said I will sit quietly. That is fine. But inside, that burning sensation will definitely be there. I will not be able to overcome it. Why? See the next verse. Athapi me vinitasya kshatram ghoramupeyushah suruchya durvachorbane na bhinne shrayate hridi. Because what kind of person I am? Avinitasya. Now see, Dhruva he is introducing himself. What kind of person I am? Durvinitasya. Oh Rishi, I don't have humility at all. I am an embodiment of ego. That Vinita Bhava, the humility is not there in me at all. Kshatram ghoram upeyushatah. I am an embodiment of, what you call, that Kshatriya's blood is there in me. So therefore that intensity of Rajas is so much in me. Ghoram Kshatram. See the way Dhruva is introducing himself. So therefore this path which you are showing is too difficult for me. The ability to forgive others, those who have harmed me. No. My nature is, unless I take revenge, I will not have peace of mind. What to do? This is me. This is my nature, and it is not something which I can change overnight. No, it is not possible for me. The Kshatriya blood is there so much in me. The thing which you are saying, it is impossible for me. Now when we are discussing all this, let us look within. We are not talking of some Dhruva, etc. We are talking of the psychology of the mind. Only a sattvic mind can forgive and forget. What about a rajasic mind? Rajasic mind can never do this. What is the nature of rajasic mind? When some injustice happen, a rajasic mind will try to retaliate. As they say, tit for tat. This is the way the rajasic mind will try to heal its wound. Somebody has inflicted the wound through humiliation, through insult, etc. How will a rajasic mind try to respond? I will show him. I will take a revenge. I will show him who I am. You will bite your teeth. You will know me. And when you take revenge, there is a satisfaction. Yes or no? When that revenge is taken, as though that inner wound is healed. As though that person, in very many films, etc., we see this. I don't mind dying, but I will do this and die. I will kill him and die. Now here, there is another thing also about this mind. There is a tamasic mind, there is a rajasic mind, and there is a sattvic mind. See how these different states of mind try to respond to these situations. A tamasic mind is a mind, when some insult happens to it, some humiliation happens, what will the tamasic mind do? It will try to destroy that person. In the process, it doesn't matter whether even I am destroyed or not. This is the attitude of a tamasic mind. So how do I take revenge? By harming others. This is the nature of a tamasic mind. That's why, these people who do this black magic and all that, they also invoke the power of the divine, but for what? For destroying others. This is tamasic devotee. What about a rajasic devotee? As far as a Rajasic devotee is concerned, Dhruva is the classic example. He will not harm the other person, he will try to become so big that other person feels so small. You understand? I will teach him a lesson. How? I will not harm him. I will with my effort become so big that that person becomes so small. Now this is also revenge. You are working on yourself to take revenge. What does the tamasic person do? He will work on others to take revenge. They are all different states of mind. Please understand, these traits are there in all of us. Don't think that, oh, that person is tamasic, oh, this person is rajasic. No. We are all that only. Only the permutations and combinations are different. That's all. Percentages are different. Okay. Now, what is the sattvic mind? Sattvic mind is amazing mind. It says, no. That feeling of hurt is because of my own ego. The greater the ego, the greater will be the feeling of hurt. So what should I do? The problem is not his hurting words. The problem is my bloated ego. Somebody has touched a wound in me, now there is pain. Who will you blame? There are two ways. You can blame that person because he touched your wound, or you can try to heal the wound, isn't it? The sattvic person is the one who has a perfect understanding. He will not blame that person, he will try to heal the wound here. And that is the Naradji's advice. My dear son, wound is here, wound is not there. Why are you feeling that hurt? It is all because of your ego. And Dhruva accepts it. Yes, you are true. It is my own bloated pride, I accept. Because that Kshatriya blood is there, I am helpless. Dhruva is not saying, oh Rishi, you are wrong. No, Dhruva is accepting it. He wholeheartedly admits it. It is true. Ghoram kshatram upayushata. This clarity has to be there regarding Dhruva. Dhruva was never a sattvic devotee. Dhruva was never a seeker of liberation. Keep all this in mind, because later on this data, it is necessary. That's why we are spending so much of time here. That character of Dhruva, he was not a jitnyasu, he was an artharthi bhakta. Very clearly he mentions in the next verse. See the next verse, verse number 37. Padam tribhuvanotkrishtam jigisho sadhu vartmame bruhyasmat pitrabhir brahman anyerapyanadhishtitam. Meanwhile in 36 there is another very important thing you see. Athapi me avinitasya kshatram ghoramupeyushah suruchya durvachor banehi na bhinne shrayate hriti. Oh Rishi, this wise advice, this teaching which you are giving me, that teaching is not staying in my heart. That's what he says. Because this heart is not fit to receive the teaching, because this heart is suffering from the wound created by Suruchya durvacho banehi, as though Suruchi had sent a bana, shaft, arrow, and that arrow has gone deep into my heart, and that heart is in a very pathetic condition. Now see the term used, he doesn't say mother's word. What does he say? Suruchi's word. Just imagine a little boy says, that's Suruchi. What is he supposed to say? There are so many things, indicated. That's Suruchi. This little boy is saying. What is he supposed to say? My mother. You are not supposed to. Normally that is the culture. You are not supposed to call your mother by name. I don't know, that culture is there everywhere. Now here he is saying that Suruchi. He can't even consider her as a mother. So therefore, now what is he saying? Oh Rishi, I will not be able to practice, not because I don't want to practice, but I don't have that mental, composition in order to practice what you are saying. Then what is it that you want? See, what is he asking? Padam tribhuvanotkrishtam jigishoho. I am a one who is desiring what? Tribhuvana utkrishtam padam. The best, the greatest state or abode in the three worlds. I want such a state which is the best in the three worlds. Sadhu Vartmame Bruhi, O Rishi, please tell me how to attain that. What is the right way in which I can attain the highest position in the three worlds? And highest means, what do you mean highest? Asmat Pitrubhihi Brahman Anyairapi Anadhishtitam. There should not be anyone in the whole world who has attained that state. It should be so high. Especially Pitrubhihi, my forefathers. Nobody should have attained that. Especially my father. I should attain that state which nobody in the past has ever attained. Meaning what? I should become so huge and big that everybody should become small. Now what attitude is this? Rajasic or Sattvic? Rajasic, very clear, you see. See, when you, through words, you are trying to expose, unknowingly, you are exposing what kind of personality you are. Through these words, what do you see? You are actually showing the world who you are. A Rajasic person becomes happy only when he conquers, only when he defeats. That joy of defeating others, joy of conquering others, joy of winning, that joy alone he sees. The joy of forgiving, don't say there is no joy, there is a tremendous joy in forgiving. What is the word he uses? Durdarsha, I am not able to see. I am only able to understand the joy of conquering. I am not able to understand the joy of forgiving. How can, just by forgiving, how can I be happy? I don't see it. You see? So Dhruva is telling something about himself, where he stands. So, oh Rishi, please tell me the way. And I know you can, because you are very efficient. Nunam bhavan bhagavatah yongajah parameshtinah Vitudannatate veenam hitartham jagatorkavat. O Lord, you are the son of Brahmaji. You know everything. You are a very great devotee of the Lord. You know in and out of everyone. And you are the one who is blessing the whole world playing Veena. So therefore, please guide me. Now see what is the attitude of Naradji. See the next verse, 39. Ityudahritamakarnya bhagavan naradastada pritah pratyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya. Anukampa was what happened in Narada. Anukampa means what? Compassion. When Naradji heard this, Preetha, he was extremely pleased with his little boy, and his heart melted in compassion. Why this compassion came? Now again, when does compassion come? When do you feel compassionate about somebody? When that somebody is helpless, and when that person admits that he is helpless, he confesses that he is helpless, it is at that time that the heart melts. Suppose a person does something wrong and he is justifying that he is right. Will the heart melt in compassion? Never. Compassion comes when a person is suffering and he knows why he is suffering, but he is helpless in coming out of it. He is not justifying his mistakes, his shortcomings, his defects. He is not justifying it. He is accepting, he is admitting it. It is at that time the real compassion comes. And that is what, each and every word is beautiful here. Naradji's heart melts in compassion looking at this boy. This boy sincerely wants to practice, but he is not in a position to practice. So therefore, with lot of love, what did Naradji do? Tam balam sad vakyam. He gave the advice. What is the advice now given to this boy? Okay, my dear son, now I understand what kind of advice you need. Jananya bihita pantha savai nishreyasasyate Bhagavan vasudevastam bhajatat pravanatmana Dharmartha kama mokshakyam yaichhet shreya atmanah Ekameva harestatra karanam padasevanam. My dear son, okay. Now do one thing, what your mother said is 100% right. Do exactly what your mother said. What is it? Worship the Lord. Single pointed mind, with a single pointed mind, if you worship the Lord, whatever be your desire, it is definitely going to get fulfilled. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, you ask anything. For all what you want to get, ekameva karanam. What is that? Harehe padasevanam. Worship the lotus feet of the Lord, you can fulfill any desire. This is what you have to do now. Whatever your desire is, take it to the Lord and let the Lord fulfill it for you. This is the best way to fulfill any desire. So for that, what are you supposed to do? Listen attentively. Tattata gaccha bhadram te yamunayastatam shuchi punyam madhuvanam yatra sanidhyam nityadaharehe. My dear boy, go. May God bless you. Now there is a beautiful place, which is that Yamunayastatam, the bank of Yamuna. There is a beautiful place. That place name is Madhuvana, and it is a very sacred place. So in that place, it is said, it is believed that Bhagavan's presence is always there. So now you go to Madhuvana. And going there, what are you supposed to do? Snatva anusavanam tasmin kalindyaha salile shive krutvochitani nivasan atmanah kalpitasanaha. You go there and then take bath 3 times in 3 sandhyas. Take bath and then where? In the waters of Kalindi, that Yamuna. And then krutvochitani nivasan, perform sandhya vandana. And then Atmanaha Kalpitasanaha. Atmanaha Kalpitasanaha means what? Practice a steady posture, asana. That's the first thing. You must be able to sit without moving in a particular posture. Then what are you supposed to do? Pranayamena trivrta pranendriya manomalam shanehi vyudasya abhidhyayet manasa guruna gurum. Then the first thing to be done is do pranayama. Pranayamena trivrta, 3 types of pranayama. What are the 3 types of pranayama? Kumbhaka, Puraka, Rechaka. Kumbhaka means what? You take the air and hold it. Kumbha means like a pot. Hold that air. That is Kumbhaka. Puraka means what? Inhalation. Rechaka means exhalation. Through these 3 types of pranayama, do it slowly, 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 and then what will happen? Prana indriya manomalam shanehi vyudasya. When you do this, the impurities of prana, the indriya and the mind, all these things will go away. Now what is this impurity of these 3? Agitation. Agitation is called impurity. Means what? As you do pranayama, your mind will start becoming quieter and quieter and quieter. And once the mind has become quiet, what are you supposed to do? Abhidhyayet manasa. May you meditate in your mind. Whom? Guruna Gurum. Guruna Gurum means what? The teacher of the teachers. Who is he? Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, the ultimate Guru. Meditate upon him. But how to meditate? Now the entire description is the beautiful form of the Lord. First we will see what is written and then we will discuss. Prasadabhimukham. That face has that kind of gesture. He is ever ready to bless. Shashvat prasanavadane kshanam. Ever prasanna, cheerful. Ever meditate upon God who is always cheerful. Why? When you meditate on a cheerful God, your mind also gets tuned to that vibration. You also become cheerful. So always our scriptures advise us to meditate upon a cheerfully smiling God. Shashvat prasanna vadana ikshanam. A cheerful face. Sunasam, beautiful nose. Subhruvam, beautiful eyebrows. Charu kapolam, charming cheeks. Surasundaram, so handsome, most handsome compared to all the devatas. Surasundaram. Tarunam, very young. Ramaniyangam, very proportionate and beautiful limbs. Arunoshtekshanaadharam. Aruna is red. Reddish eyes and rosy lips. Okay. Pranatashrayanam. The one who gives ashraya to those people who have surrendered unto him. Nrimnam, ever blissful. Sharanyam, the one who is fit to be surrendered unto. Karunarnavam, an ocean of compassion. Srivatsankam, the one who has the mark of Srivatsa on his chest. Ghanashyamam, the color of rain-bearing cloud. Purusham, the indweller. Vanamalinam, the one who is wearing Vanamala. Shankha Chakra Gada Padmehi Abhivyakta Chaturbhujam. Having Chaturbhuja. What does it have? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Kiritinam, having the crown. Kundalinam, having earrings. Keyura Valayanvitam, having armbands and bracelets. Kaustubha Bharanagrivam. On the neck is that gem of Kaustubha. Pita Kausheya Vasasam. What is the color of this dress? Pita Kausheya means silken yellow dress, robe. Kanchi Kalapa Paryastam, wearing a girdle, that on the waist what you wear, that is called girdle. Lasat Kanchananoopuram, wearing anklets made of gold, shining. Darshaniyatamam, very beautiful, handsome, worth seeing. Shantam, very peaceful. Mano Nayanavardhanam, very attractive to the mind and the eyes. Padbhyam Nakhamanishreenya Vilasadbhyam Samarchatam Hrit Padma Karnikadhishtyam Akramyatmani Avastitam. So meditate of the lotus feet. Assume that the lotus feet in your heart, and that lotus feet, when you see, each and every nail is shining like gem. All these things you meditate. Now what is this? This is called as Manasa Puja. Manasa Puja. So what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to meditate the entire form like this, as has been described, as has been mentioned. Smayamanam abhidhyayet sanuragavalokanam. Smayamanam, Bhagavan is smiling, and with lovingly he is looking at you. This way you should imagine. Bhagavan is looking at you with lot of love and compassion. Nyeteneka bhutena manasa varadarshabham. Bhagavan is the best among the bestowers of boon. With a single pointed mind, meditate on Bhagavan like this. And what will happen if you meditate like this? Evam bhagavato rupam subhadram dhyayato manaha nirvritya parayaturnam sampannam nanivartate. When you start meditating like this, your heart will be filled with what you call unearthly divine bliss. This is the result. Now let us pause here for some time. So here you will find that the beautiful form of the Lord is mentioned. Very interestingly, the very same Purana will describe Bhagavan as consciousness also, Bhagavan as self also, Bhagavan as Nirguna also. Now you may say, what is the reality? Is Bhagavan consciousness or is Bhagavan this? So here we have to understand, whenever we read Purana, we have to understand that compassion of Vedavyasa, because of which he has written. So he has written Purana in such a way that all categories of people can get something for their meditation in this. So keeping in mind all class of people, there are people who are very, very low, very, very gross, very, very materialistic. Such people are also there. Bhagavan Vedavyasa has to keep them also in mind. And there are people who are highly advanced sadhakas. Vedavyasa Rishi has to keep them also in mind. So keeping both of them in mind, who are the two extremes of mankind. If you have to write a scripture, just imagine how difficult the task must be. You have to compose a syllabus in which the LKG student also is there, in which the PhD student also is there. You have to write a syllabus. Now what kind of syllabus will you write? It's not a joke, isn't it? So this Purana is considered like a mother. A newborn baby also has to be fed. The grown-up child also has to be fed. Same food cannot be given. A newborn baby has to be given mother's milk. The grown-up child has to be given something solid, isn't it? In the same way, the Purana, you will find all categories of people addressed. So here, this kind of meditation is prescribed for those people who are at a very, very, very low level of evolution. Whenever you find such kinds of description, understand this. People who are just beginners, suppose they ask, how to meditate on God? What will you answer? Will you say, be the observer of the mind. The pure consciousness is that God. He will say, what is that? Poor man, he doesn't know anything, ABCD about spirituality. And such a person is asking for some tips for meditation. What kind of tips you should give? This is what you have to give. Especially small children, don't try to explain them the concept of Upanishads. No. For small child, if you have to give some tips for meditation, what is the kind of tip you should give? This is the one. If you see Gurudev's journey of the master, Gurudev was doing this kind of meditation on Lord Shiva. Take the beautiful form, look at that form, close the eyes, try to visualize each and every minute details of that photo, and slowly, slowly what happens is, Chitta Shuddhi also comes, Chitta Ekagrata also comes. Mind also becomes pure, mind also becomes single pointed. Now what a beautiful way Naradji is guiding this little child, you see. People who are less evolved, for them this is the kind of meditation. Why this meditation is very, very useful? It is useful because normally for an ignorant person, what will be his concept of God? Remember, an ignorant person is the one who is totally identified with the body. So according to him, he is the body. So now if he has to imagine a God, what kind of form that God will have? The very same body, but a beautiful body, a strong body. Yes or no? That's all what his brain can think of. And that is why this kind of, keeping in mind the psychology of people, such kind of meditations are prescribed. So for this meditation, you don't need any Vedantic background. You don't have to study any scriptures. You need not even know the nature of God. Nothing you need to know. You just need to have a form and you can meditate on that. No guidance is necessary. Remember, the very same Purana describes God in a different way elsewhere. That also we will see. You see? So the lowest category of people are also taken into account. The highest, most evolved sadhakas are also taken into account. Later on you will find that there is some world called some loka, and these people are taken to that loka through some parshadas. Now when you read such stories, what you have to understand, this story is meant for the people who don't have that ability, that sensitivity to think. They are meant for the beginners, because for a beginner, God is a form. For a beginner, God is living in some special world which is far, far away, which is a very divine world. Now, very easily, a person is able to believe all this, isn't it? Without questioning. Yeah. A divine God must have a world. Why? Because I am living in the world, so God also must have a world. He must also have a world. And that world cannot be this world. If that world is not this world, definitely traveling is necessary. And traveling has to be done in space. So therefore, keeping all this in mind, such stories are written. So whenever such portions come in the scriptures, we have to understand this is meant for children. This is meant for the beginners. And mind you, all the stories that you find in the movies and dramas and serials, they get masala from this. They get spice from this. So all these things you have to keep in mind. In fact, Puranas have become so famous. You ask anyone on the street, tell me the story of Dhruva or Prahlada, they will tell you. Is it in a wonder that a scripture has become so famous that everybody knows it? Maybe a mere story, that's fine, but he knows it. Isn't it? It's a great wonder. Just ask them, what does this Upanishad say? Kena Upanishad, what does it say? He will not be able to answer. You ask him, what is the story of Prahlada? He will be there to tell you. He may not be spiritual, but still he knows the story. This is the glory of Purana. So that Vedavyasa Rishi, what must be that heart? How much must be that compassion, because of which he has written a scripture keeping everybody in mind. So everyone has something for his level. This is how we have to, analyze these portions in Puranas. Okay, now continuing. So this is the way, oh my dear son, you should meditate upon that Supreme Lord. Now, when you meditate, you must also chant a mantra. What is it? Japyascha paramo guhyah shruyatam me nrupatmaja yam saptaratram prapathan puman pashyati khecharan. I will give you a mantra, oh my dear child. Japyascha, you must do the japa of this mantra. Paramo guhyah, it is extremely secret and sacred. And if you do it for 7 nights, you will see divine forms. Devatas you will start seeing. And what is that mantra? Verse number 54. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mantrenanena Devasya Kurya Dravyamaim Buddha Saparyam Vividher Dravyehi Desha Kala Vibhagavita. Oh my dear child, you must chant this mantra and you must do puja of the Lord. This is the thing which you have to do, Manasa Puja. Not only Manasa Puja, you should really do the, physical puja also. So while doing this physical puja, you must chant this mantra constantly. Now see the guidance. See, Manasa Puja can be done only when the mind is very peaceful and all that. Will the mind remain peaceful all the time? No. Early morning the mind is peaceful, after breakfast it is gone. So now, so you will have to be given some technique where when Manasa Puja is not happening, at least physical puja you must be able to do. Physical puja doing is easier than Manasa Puja. So therefore, when the mind has become little rajasic, little extrovert, then do this. What has to be done? Do the physical puja. And when you are doing physical puja, constantly chant this mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But Bhagwan, what kind of puja should I do? Now see the details given. Salilehi Shuchibir Malyehi Vanyei Moola Phaladivihi Shastankuram Shukais Charche Tulasya Priyaya Prabhum. Salilehi Shuchibihi, with a pure water you must offer it to Bhagwan. Malyehi Vanyehi, you must offer garland to Bhagwan. Now where to make this garland? Collect all the flowers from the forest and make a beautiful garland and offer it. Everything beautiful and wonderful should be offered to Bhagwan. The water should be pure. The garland should be beautiful. For that you have to collect flowers from the forest. And then Vanya Moola Phaladivihi. Moola means root. Phala means fruit. Roots and fruits. Now you are going to stay in the forest. Definitely you will have to eat something. Before eating, what you have to do? Offer it to Bhagwan, make it Naivedyam and then eat. Meaning purify every act of yours. Shastankuram Shukais Charchet. Offer Durva grass. And then Amshuka. Amshuka is a particular bark of the tree. So you will have to wear some dress. What dress you can wear? You can't get silken cloth etc. in the forest. So some bark of the tree you cut, but before wearing, what you have to do? Offer it to God and then wear it. And then especially offer Tulasi, because this Tulasi is extremely dear to Bhagavan. Labdva dravyamai marcham kshityambvadishu varchayet abhrutatma munishantaha yatavang Mita Vanyabhuk. So you should have a small idol upon which you should, what you call, superimpose this idea of Bhagavan. So you must have a small idol for that. The idol can be made of either stone or some metal. In the forest you get only stone. So now worship this. But even when you are worshipping, keep in mind the discipline which you have to follow. What are the discipline? Abhrutatma. Let the senses remain under control. Munihi, may you be contemplative. Shantaha, may you be peaceful. Yatavang, may you not speak more. Yatavang means control over the tongue, speech. Mita Vanyabhuk, even the eating also should be moderate. Moderate in speech, moderate in eating, moderate in sleeping, and controlling all the sense organs. This is the way you must live. Then, Swechhavatara Charitehi Achintya Nijamayaya Karishyati Uttama Shlokaha Tadhyayet Hridayangamam. Then what are you supposed to your mind? What are you supposed to contemplate? You should become a Muni, contemplative person. What am I supposed to contemplate? Contemplate upon all the Leelas of Bhagavan. Now see here, contemplation is not upon the self. What kind of contemplation is suggested here? Upon the Leelas of Bhagavan. Lot of stories are there. Now interestingly here it is said, Karishyati, which Bhagavan is going to do in the future. See how much care they have. Because just now only creation has begun. Brahmaji, Swayambhuva Manu, Uttanapada Dhruva, that's all. Creation has just begun. Meaning what? Bhagavan has not yet born. Leelas have not yet started of this present creation. So what all kinds of Leelas he is going to do in the future, meditate upon them. All those stories of Bhagavan, meditate upon them. Paricharya Bhagavatah Yavatyah Purvasevitaha Ta Mantra Hridayeneva Prayunjyat Mantramurtaye. So this way you must worship, you must do the puja of the Lord. Now see the what you call specific instruction given how you should chant mantra. Mantra hridayena. Mantra should be chanted by the heart, not by the lips or the tongue. What does it mean? What kind of chanting do? We chant by the lips and the tongue, isn't it? What is being said here? Mantra should be chanted not by the lips. Meaning what? Let not the japa becomes mechanical. Japa should be by the heart. Means what? There should be total involvement. The heart should be involved. It should be a conscious japa, not with a mind which is wandering. Mantra hridayena. And then what happens? Mantra murtaye. That Bhagavan's name is called Mantra Murti. What do you mean Mantra Murti? When you constantly chant this mantra, slowly you'd start seeing that form. Whatever form has been described, he has done Manasa Puja, the very same Bhagavan will appear in form. That's called as Mantra Murti. Bhagavan, in order to please his devotee, will take that form and appear in front. And this is exactly what is going to happen also. Bhagavan comes in that form, the very same form which he meditates upon. So this is the way you must do puja, not a mechanical tim puja. Our puja, so many years we do, nothing happens. This fellow does it for 3-4 months and finished. Are you able to see the difference? And see the warning given. That's a beauty. Maharaj, how in detail. See. When japa is done, don't do it with mechanical mind. Do it with the conscious mind. With lot of love involved. That's how he says. In this way, evam kayena manasa vachasa cha manogatam paricharyamano bhagavan bhaktimat paricharyaya pumsam mainam samyak bhajatam bhavavardhanah shreyo dishati abhimatam yad dharmadishu dehinam. In this way, kayena manasa vacha. What is kayena here? Puja. Manasa. What is the manasa here? Thinking about the leelas of the Lord, thinking the beautiful form of the Lord. Manasa. What is vacha here? Chanting mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. So this way, kayena manasa vachasa paricharyamanaha Bhagavan bhaktimat paricharyaya pumsam amainam. Amaina means sincerely. When a devotee worship Bhagavan, samyak bhajatam, as best as he can. Samyak. Then what will happen? This Bhagavan becomes bhavavardhanaha. Then Bhagavan ensures that devotion unto him becomes strong. Bhagavan ensures that the relationship with Bhagavan becomes strong. He increases all these things. Bhava means the feeling of devotion. And then Shreyo Dishati, he blesses you with whatever you need. Abhimatam. Yad dharma dishudena. Whatever it is, dharma, artha, kama, whatever you need, Bhagavan blesses you. But Dhruva, now the next verse is so sweet. He will give you whatever you want. But, what is that but? Viraktaschet indriyaratau. But if you can just add this one aspect to your devotion. What? Virakti. Dispassion. Virakti with respect to the desires of the world. If you can add this. Bhakti yogena bhuyasa. And then worship that God with lot of bhakti. Tam nirantara bhavena. So with lot of intensity of devotion and continuity, nirantara, continuously if you can worship Bhagavan without any worldly desires, then what will happen? Bhajet adha vimuktaye, you will be liberated. Are you able to follow what I am saying? No doubt all your desires will be fulfilled. But if you can add this one element to this, The same, everything has to be done the same. Just one aspect. What is it? Desirelessness towards the world. That virakti, if you can add, the very same devotion will take you to mukti, liberation. And then what does Dhruva do? And now the teaching is over. Ityuktastam parikramya pranamya chatnubharbhakah yayau madhuvanam punyam haresh charana charchitam. So this little boy was extremely grateful to this kind of teaching given. He did the parikrama of Narada Rishi, did pradakshina, prostrated unto him, took his blessings, and then he went to Madhuvana for doing the tapas. Then what happened? We will see. So some of the points you have to remember here. What did Narada Rishi say? Whatever desire is there, it will be fulfilled, but if you can have this one aspect. Now I'm emphasizing because later on something is going to happen. Okay, what is going to happen, we'll see. And now Dhruva goes to do tapas. What does Narada do? Let us see. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaved. Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.